some tips to protect your license that I thought we could review for, again, dreaded disclosures. We don't dread them, but I know that they're not the sexiest part of your business. Tips to protect your license. The first one is stay in your lane. This, again, is a reminder. You are not an attorney. You're not an electrician, a plumber, a home inspector, an appraiser, etc. But first and foremost, you're not an attorney. So if any point you've got a client that says, should I review this with my lawyer? While they don't maybe need to, in your experience, if they're asking to, you always let them do it. You always let them do it if that's their choice. Next up is don't take shortcuts. I think we've been in a very busy work environment, and agents have been going and going and going, showing properties and showing them quickly. And it's very easy during that environment to start kind of rounding corners, taking shortcuts to get things done. When it comes to this disclosure with your sellers, slow down. I know you want to get done. I know it's hard to watch a seller fill out all of those little details on disclosures that are up to 6 pages now, some of you are working with, and a lot of details. I know it's hard to be patient, but please don't take any shortcuts on it. Make sure that they fill it out completely. This is another big one, is don't touch the disclosure. In fact, I heard an attorney once say, wear white gloves when you're handing it off to your client so you don't even have sticky fingerprints on it. That might be a little extreme, but the point is, I think a lot of us are going with paperwork pre-filled out as much as possible. You're either still taking actual paperwork, or even digitally, if you're using a .loop or DocuSign type program, you've got things locked and loaded so that when your seller says, yes, I want to list with you, you're my agent of choice, you're ready to pull the trigger. This is the one bit of paperwork that you do not want to fill out, even the name and address at the top, but especially your sellers should be filling out that disclosure on their own. You should not be filling it out. And I know we want to help. I know you're faster. I know some of you might have folks with maybe some vision issues or something like that, just for example, that you're working with that makes it a little bit difficult. See if they can get someone to come in and help them, but you should not be filling out the disclosure ever, ever, ever. Please don't touch it. Wear white gloves. Okay, too much. Read and review the disclosure. Number one, know what your seller actually disclosed so that you're not surprised. And if someone asks a question, for example, has there ever been water in the basement? You actually know the answer instead of saying, I can't remember. No. Obviously, we don't want to lie to them, but also I want you to be confident in what they've disclosed, that you know what's on that disclosure. Next up is review it. And this kind of goes into the next bullet point, is make sure that it's entirely filled out. If they marked yes to an issue, for example, did they disclose yes what the issue is? And if there was anything done to resolve the issue. Also make sure that every little checkbox is filled out. I know that there's a lot on there, so make sure that everything is addressed, and if they've disclosed something, that they've provided further dialogue. The next one is don't drink and disclose. This is one that I've kind of had in the back of my mind for a long time. And again, I had an attorney kind of address it that I was speaking with. And what this refers to is that post that you might see on social media of an agent, and I'm not trying to pick on anyone, call anyone out here, but you've got a stack of paperwork and a glass of wine, 10 o'clock at night with your feet up in front of the fireplace, working hard for my sellers, listing coming soon, right? Hashtag love my job, whatever that is. I get what you're trying to do there, right? You're trying to be engaged. I do have a little worry that you're sending a message out to people that you love to work at 10 o'clock at night when you maybe don't, but that's all your business. This attorney gets really, really worried that if that listing in the future goes to a lawsuit and you are subpoenaed or whatever to testify as the seller's agent, they're going to go back, the buyer's attorney, look at your social media and see that post happened on April 17th, and then that listing went live or active, however you call it, on the market April 18th, the very next morning. And was there a chance you were intoxicated while filling out any of the paperwork, specifically this disclosure part? So you're adults, this is your business. That might just be a food for thought, that when it comes to contracts or where we're signing legal documents, celebrate. I'm not saying that you shouldn't celebrate, but maybe get that out of the picture until after the work is done. The last one, and this was also advice from an attorney, if you think that your seller is suspicious of lying about a detail, walk away. If they're going to lie about one thing, they're very easily going to lie about another. If you let one thing slide, give them an inch, they'll take a mile, you know, that phrase or saying. I agree with that sentiment. It is your business to choose what you want to do. Of course, if you've got a seller that says, I don't want to disclose water in the basement because I'm afraid no one will write an offer, we know we've got to disclose that anyway because of a material adverse fact. But I would say if you're really suspicious and don't know what to do, your first line of defense is get with your broker and ask their advice. In fact, come from curiosity and ask lots of questions. I respect the attorney's decision about walking away and that advice. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm going to stay in my lane. But I also know that there is this material adverse fact that we're going to disclose no matter what. So if you've got a seller that's suspicious, have standards around it. And again, consult with your broker. This has been tips